Hey, what's up everyone? A subscriber of mine sent me a video to review. It's about the Long family. It's a family from New Zealand that essentially tried to get away from civilization.
I needed to be somewhere where I didn't have people telling me how I should live my life.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that should be the driving force because that's slavery.
Robert Long wanted to get away, and he went as far as he could.
I wanted to be somewhere where it was all wilderness.
Where there was nothing to connect him to the
Wilderness, nature.
modern world.
Understandable. Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of people want that deep down.
Where there was no roads between the sea and the mountains.
A river and a hut miles away from anything, anyone.
It's not so much that you want to get away from people. Naturally, not at all. You want to create a big family and live together with lots of people as long as they are sane. But seeing as most people are not sane today in this so-called modern world, it's of course problematic to be around them.
It's like you crave human company.
So how long can it be between visitors?
It can be months.
And Robert Long chose this life not only for himself, but for his family.
For 16 years, the Longs have lived here.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you should have a bigger family. 10 children, parents with 2 children, it's a start.
In almost total isolation, surrounded by the sea, the mountains, and the sandflies. The nearest road is 50 kilometres away. To get in and out, it's a long trek. 2 days walk this way, or 7 days to the south.
Oh, I've made it a little bit more cosier. We get
Step inside the hut that Robert Long has called home, and you can't help but wonder why.
and probably a few more screens to get the sandflies out. This is my workshop area here.
In another life, he once made headlines as a high achiever. His life mapped out to become a doctor.
That was already set in concrete. All I had to do was pass my exams.
Did you pass?
Yeah.
Robert's wife, Catherine, a former microbiologist, now relies on an oil drum to cook for her family.
Do you know what temperature that's at?
No, it doesn't go or stop.
There's no fridge. The nearest superette, a 2-day tramp to Haast.
Yeah, but they still have imported seed slime. However they get it. That's too bad. I wish that they would just eat what nature provides. Maybe there's not many animals around, but they are by the water. You have the water and the forest. What else can you really want?
How do you get your food?
We have an aeroplane come once a month. The rest of it comes from the garden and from the river.
What about luxury items for kids?
We like a bottle of milk.
A bottle of milk is a luxury?
Yeah, we have powdered milk, but a bottle of milk is still nice.
Here's the outside world here on the radio. I listen to the national radio.
And an emergency radio.
Except it doesn't work.
No, about a month ago it stopped working.
Officially, it's a Department of Conservation hut, but a handshake deal 3 decades ago has allowed him to stay there as caretaker for free.
This is our place to live. But I don't claim that it's my hut. It's still a public hut, as far as I'm concerned.
When television cameras last dropped in 13 years ago, Robert and Catherine had just married and were starting a family. Kristen, then 3, and baby Robin.
And did you have any reservations at all about bringing a little baby back in here? No.
We're looking forward to getting a home.
2 blue-eyed bush babes. They'd be raised here without television, computers, schools and cars, just each other for playmates.
Very nice, except again, only 2 children. That's not natural, that's not normal. That's the only downside, otherwise awesome.
We've grown up on boulders, so we're very good at walking on boulders.
Kristen is now a young man, 16 and 6'1", with skills that would leave most teenagers literally for dead.
I could probably survive in the bush by myself with no food, no anything.
For how long?
Not forever. I think if you had some matches, that would really help. If you had matches, I think you'd be able to get a fire going.
I guess that we can assume that they had no braces. How could they possibly? I can't imagine. His teeth look all right. Not perfect, obviously. But I'm just thinking about the development. Yeah, but they also eat grain sludge. Still, they probably ate a lot better food overall than most people. Yeah.
Anywhere, and you'd be able to survive. The sacks to keep the flies off.
At an age when most kids are hanging out with mates,
They've been hanging overnight, so they've cooled down.
Kristen is hanging out with possums.
Sometimes you get a real smart possum that dodges all the traps.
He'll eat possum if he has to,
It's good if you've got nothing else.
and he's very quick skinning them.
We'll say that was 1:15, which is not a bad time.
Okay.
What does he miss? He hardly knows what there is to miss.
The isolation can be very hard. Other people my own age, you see very few other people out here.
Yeah, exactly, and that's not normal. They should have at least had 5 children. Yeah, why did they not? Maybe there was a reason for it. Can't really imagine what. Then it would be a lot more fun for them.
My own age.
Few, if any, the odd deer hunter drifts through. And occasionally, very occasionally, there's the sound of a chopper.
It's always exciting. If you haven't seen anyone for ages, you're always hanging out to see someone.
Does it matter who it is?
No. Anyone's fine. Yeah.
The baby girl who was brought to the bush when she was just a few weeks old is now 13 and has a pet chook. Chookie.
We got her from some friends in our town. She was just a little fluffball.
Is she your closest friend?
Kind of, yeah.
For her 13th birthday,
She also had no braces, right? I would assume. Interesting.
forget iPods and cell phones, her only present was a greenstone dolphin carved by her father.
Is that what you wanted?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Pretty well developed compared to most people today. Again, not by any means perfect or anything, but yeah, when you compare it, because they just live there in sort of isolation, right? No dentist, nothing. Yeah, maybe somebody sometime came along, but that's about it probably. Cool, interesting to see.
There's all sorts of things I want, but some of them are pretty impractical.
What sort of things?
Trampoline.
So mothers, tell your children not to do as I've done.
Auckland-born Robert Long, Beansprout as he's known in the district, opted for all this when he was just 24. An outstanding student at an elite boys' school in Brisbane, a prefect, an army cadet, a state champion athlete. He got 3 years into a medical degree when, in an instant, he threw it all in.
What were your parents' expectations of you?
They expected me to be successful as a doctor, so they were deeply disappointed.
Yeah, but in reality, he was actually successful, except that he only had 2 children. If they had close to 10 children there, yeah, what else can you wish for? Yeah, some things, which are naturally hard to do, although they live in isolation there. Who cares, really? And they can hunt whatever animals they want to, I guess. That's what it seems like. How would he be successful by living in civilization? Treating people as in their symptoms, covering them up. No, no way.
Very different coastline, 2,500 kilometres across the sea, we found 81-year-old Robert Long Sr. in Mooloolaba, Queensland. Robert's dad.
What was your proudest moment?
Well, I think the proudest moment, if there is such a thing, was in his final year at school when he was presented with the trophies that he had won during the year, and the whole school stood up and...
The guy has a pretty well-developed face. He's older now, obviously, but just purely looking at development of the bones. Huh. Yeah, good genetics, which he gave to the children, what they inherited.
Cheered him. And he was the only one that had that acclamation out of all of those that were presented. They were all acclaimed. But
New Zealander Bob Long brought his family to Australia in the 60s and, having prospered from property and oil, retired at just 47, now living the life his son might have had if he'd finished medical school.
he had disappointed me and I was angry with him. I felt what I'd done for my part was the duty of a father, and it was the duty of a son to take advantage of the opportunities. And when he didn't do so, I felt that the contract had been broken by him. And I was disappointed, yes.
Did you push?
Yeah, that's the problem. Wanting your children to do something that's unnatural. Of course it can go wrong. Some will just not want to be part of the system. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand his perspective. And he never will, most likely.
Hard to be a doctor.
I think this is one of the problems, that between sport and education, etc., I think he took on too much, and I think that was the reason that he finally...
Yeah, exactly. Too much pressure from everybody around you, especially the parents. And you don't want that. You just want to do what you naturally want to do. You want to chill, hunt, get food, and reproduce. That's it, essentially. Yeah, there's a bit more to it, but that's the core of it. And they wanted him to study, work, and who knows what sports, he said. It's all unnatural. Nobody wants to really do it. And then the pressure was too much. Understandable.
Hold it up.
For years, they were estranged, father and son. One thriving in the modern world, one rejecting it. Robert Jr. says something just clicked for him 28 years ago. The idea that civilization was harming humans, destroying the planet.
Exactly, of course. Of course, that's how it is.
But what difference are you making here?
In our own little way, we're just trying to make a little bit of a difference. And I think that's what matters. It's
what I notice is that there's just no geoengineering at all. Okay, this video is from longer ago. They didn't do it that much some decades ago. Still, super blue sky, natural clouds. Looks like fucking paradise almost.
It's not what I talk about. It's not what I tell you what to do. It's what I do. And that's what matters. It's what you do as a person.
Robert tells us that his justification for living like this is that he believes civilization is ruining the planet and he needs to do his bit to try and save it.
I see. Well, I don't know how he's saving it down there, but God bless him. And I hope he keeps on trying, succeeds, because if he can save civilization, I couldn't argue with that.
Wait, what? Did you not just listen to what she said? What your son actually wants to do? He said that civilization is destroying the earth. He doesn't want to save civilization. He's against it. Man, this guy, yeah, he doesn't get it. Doesn't get his perspective whatsoever. He said that civilization is destroying the earth. He's not trying to save it, man. You just said the opposite of what your son believes. Maybe he just doesn't want to hear it or understand it, or he really just doesn't listen. Well, whatever the case, he just doesn't get it.
Do you relate to that at all?
No, I don't think so. No, I can't see any move he's making to sort of benefit mankind. He's benefiting himself very much, but I think mankind's doing pretty well.
But you do benefit mankind by being natural, because it would inspire other people to do it. Of course, the system has a hold of us, unfortunately, so that's not going to actually solve the problem. But yes, how do you solve it? By promoting living naturally, or by living naturally yourself? Yeah. The only thing is that he only has 2 children. And of course, nobody would even know about him if it wasn't for this video.
But Robert Jr.'s choices have meant sacrifices for his children. Growing up without conventional schooling, no internet, research the old-fashioned way. Children who, through necessity, have had to give up some of their dreams.
Your mother told us you once wanted to be a black cap.
Yeah, I used to be into sport, but it's not really possible out here, I'm afraid to say, yeah.
Kristen has never played in a team. He learned the rules of rugby and cricket by listening to national radio.
So do you regret that you haven't been able to develop those skills?
No, I don't really regret it. There's other things to do, and I'm quite happy doing them. What here?
He wanted to be a black cap, didn't he?
He did. And he was going for it then, but now he wants something else.
And what's that? What does he want now?
He likes being here at the moment. He likes trout fishing and possum trapping.
That skin there would probably be worth $14.
What he really wants is to start a business, turning possum skins into possum pillows. And Robin also has plans.
I'd like to go to university. I'd like to be a research scientist.
Like your mum?
Yeah, I suppose.
What would you like to do research into?
I like birds and wildlife and stuff, especially birds.
I think people concentrate on what we miss out on here, but they don't realise how much we have that they don't. And make schedules. We don't have to get our kids to the school bus on time. We don't have to go to work to pay for them to have the house and the car and the bus fares and the clothes that they need. We work hard, but the
Wow, nice food. Wow.
work that we do translates straight into
Results.
Food in your mouth. It's not paying somebody else to do it for you.
It's the only life they've known.
Lovely. Could eat it raw. Raw lobster tastes super nice.
But as bush babes become bush teens and adults, their eyes must be opening to the rest of the world.
There'll come a time, won't there, when you can actually just decide, I've had enough and I'm going to go out and do my own thing?
Yeah.
Have you reached that point yet?
Not quite yet, but if I want to, I can go away and do something by myself. Yeah. I've been out to town once from here. I went to a school camp in the Lewis Pass.
Would you like to live in a town?
Maybe. I've tried living in the bush. It'd be quite cool to try something else as well.
They are outdoing me in all sorts of areas. Knowledge, even wisdom. They seem to know more about life than I do.
What he said at the end about the children, as if they understand more about life than he does, is interesting and likely true, because if you grow up naturally or the way they live, which is pretty close to the way you would grow up naturally, except that it's too little people. That's not normal. That never happens, that you grow up with two parents and a sibling. That they actually took with them from civilization, whether they realize it or not. But the reason I find it interesting is because when I watch my daughter and what she does, and she's very young still, I can already learn a lot from her, believe it or not, because I let her live completely naturally. I let her do whatever she wants to. Of course, as a parent, you teach her if something is harmful in some way, but besides that, she can just live the way she wants to. And I see her react to certain things, and I actually learn from it, even though I'm so much into nature and natural human behavior and everything. I still learn something from her, even though she's super young. I'm just thinking about it because I guess that because he grew up in civilization, but the daughter didn't, and the son also not really. He probably saw how they act naturally in a lot of ways, and he learned from it. I think that that's what he meant, because this is what I'm experiencing already so early on, and seeing as they were, I think, 13 and 16, the reporter said, he learned a lot from them. Overall, I liked the video. It had a good atmosphere. It's very easy to watch. It's interesting. As I said, having 2 children is abnormal naturally. That would never happen. That's why it's not ideal there. Because typically, naturally, or if you look at the way human life began, but of course everybody has their own beliefs as to how it began, but it would usually happen this way. You would have people, and then they would reproduce, and then you have a sort of town, not a town with stupid modern buildings, not what we have today, but you would create more and more shelters, and then you would expand. That's normal. This is close to the way you would live naturally, but they live isolated, and I don't know what happened to them later on. I only saw some photos of them. They seem to be doing fine. Maybe somebody can inform me about that. But it just doesn't seem like they actually did what they were naturally really supposed to. Still, you take all of this from civilization with you. It's hard to deprogram yourself completely, and they could also not probably hunt exactly the way they wanted to, I would assume, seeing as it's a kind of protected place as far as I understood. But the son was able to hunt. Maybe he wasn't allowed to hunt the bigger animals. I don't know. That would be even more interesting. Still, he didn't seem to be interested in the sports. Even if he only hunted smaller animals, that was already enough, because that's what he, of course, naturally really wanted. He wanted to hunt with his father, brothers, all in a big group, big animals with spears and whatnot. Instead, he was kind of hunting alone, I think, or maybe sometimes with the father. I guess the father probably showed him how to do it. They never experienced life the way it naturally should be, but they got closer than 99% of people, and that's of course beautiful. Thanks for watching.